Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 Memorial Championship presented by Discraft. We're out in Fountain Hills, Arizona for the opening round of the 4-round event taking place this PDGA A tier. And joining me on the mics for the first time ever, Jamie Spencer.
First up,
Jamie, we've got a great group here. Sarah's calling off the names.
Scoggins.
First of all, of course, welcome. And you ready to watch some golf?
I am, Terry. Thank you for having me. It's exciting to be here with you.
This is the very first FPO group of the day. We've got Owen Scoggins. A little nerve-wracking on that very first water carry.
Yes, very tight right there. But it was really clean in the end.
And a recent switch over to Team Discraft, Alexis Mandujano.
Come back.
Maybe a little too conservative, or no?
Yeah, pretty safe.
And then, of course, the superstar. You've seen her. The whole world has seen her. Last year, having such an incredible Disc Golf Pro Tour championship and incredible year. We've got Hayley King. Do you feel like this is a course that advantages her with the distance, or not necessarily?
In this situation, no. She did go a little long, and then it depends on if you get a skip or not. She definitely got that skip and went past that OB line.
Yeah, there is actually OB deep of the basket, and like you said, she's past that. She'll have a putt looking back at it to save her par. And here's Owen for birdie.
Oh, man. Beautiful.
Great jumper to get the round started. Hailey low. Easy to be tentative. You live in this area. Is it safe to say you've maybe put a disc or two in the water?
Oh, well, guaranteed. Just not today, surprisingly.
Okay. Oh, well, spoiler. During your round, you didn't put any in. No, that's awesome. You've got to think everybody just a little bit nervous. We saw a lot of these players in Las Vegas last weekend, of course, kicking off the Pro Tour. But when you come out to Fountain Hills, think you can find water on like 14 out of the 18 holes?
Oh, easy. I found water on holes I'm not supposed to find water.
Well, here we are on hole number 2. It's one of the 2 par 4s. What's your way the best way to attack this one?
Well, first off, you have the 2 guardian trees there that you want to get around. You can either go an Annie around on the left-hand side, do a forehand on the left-hand side, or you can go underneath them. The big thing is the 2-meter rule is in effect, so you just want to make sure you keep it clean and don't get a skip into the water.
Well, we'll see what Owen is going to do. She goes right up the middle. I feel like that's the most common play, whether it's FPO or MPO, just trying to keep that water, out of play.
Mm-hmm.
Alexis lining up the same shot.
Thing to note, too, there is OB on that far right side, too. So if you get that wrong wind and you let the belly get taken, it's going to be gone.
And Hailey might have the most distance out of any FPO player in the field here this weekend. So I know I had asked earlier if that's an advantage. I don't think this course offers as much challenge when it comes to distance as, say, the last 2 rounds at Vista. So maybe she'll actually have to dial things back a little bit.
Yeah, especially with some of the skips you can get, it can be more dangerous to have that power.
Owen has made jokes about how she doesn't have nearly as much power as some of the other FPO players, but we also know that she's incredibly deadly on the putting green.
Yes, she is.
And as we're looking at this being probably the most open hole on the course, I'd ask, is the grass and, kind of how everything looks and feels right there, is this what we normally have at this time of year? Are things a little more green and lush, or is this about the same?
This is about the same. They didn't overwater it today. They overwatered yesterday, so I'm actually thankful they didn't do that because it was really wet on the course yesterday. So this is good.
There's sprinklers throughout the course?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all over the place. So it's great to come to Arizona and see a little bit of the green grass. We don't necessarily get that in all of our courses when we're here playing, huh?
Oh. The one tree.
The one tree. And she had a great line on it, too. It looked like it was going to probably just hook up, finish right next to the basket. She finds the one tree. Good line by...
Oh, no. The same tree.
I think you jinxed him. Nah, okay. And here's the killer. Not only were both of those shots going to probably be within 10 feet, now you have a 45-footer with a rollaway angle.
Yep.
It's almost better to not hit metal unless it goes in there.
Yeah.
Just because there's a chance it hits the side of the cage and then rolls off. I think they have a discussion here about where they were out of bounds.
Right before the curve.
Okay, you got it right. I'm sorry.
It was like directly right on that curve. Like, I mean, it was right between what both of you were saying.
My boy Dylan getting in there trying to help out. He was the one that was up there on the catch cam, so he saw roughly where he had gone out, and Hailey is just a bit short, so she's not able to save the par.
Yeah, they didn't have a spotter in that location. I mean, usually in the past they have, but they have the spotter further up the fairway.
And maybe no surprise, hole 2 plays as one of the most difficult holes. Yes, it's 703 feet. I think it's the longest or the second longest hole out here, but even relative to par, it played at 1.33 above par. So it averaged 5.33 today. It can it can eat your lunch early in a tournament.
I helped with that number.
You're not supposed to feed the statistics monster. Not the bad ones, anyway. Hole 3, relatively basic shot here, 294 feet.
I think what I see here a lot is people throw that hyzer line to try to take some of the distance off the driver, and then they get that bad skip, and they go into the sidewalk off there to the left.
Yeah, this is one of the few holes you can't necessarily, well, you shouldn't find water, but there's still OB that's in play anytime you're here at the Memorial. Again, one of those instances where maybe even Hailey has to kind of club down just because throwing 300 is so effortless for her.
Nice shot.
And some of the beeping you hear in the background, we'll see it on the next hole. There's a lot of construction taking place. I don't know if that's Panorama Drive or something down there, but a lot of construction that everyone was mildly distracted by throughout the day.
Oh.
No, that wasn't a gunshot.
Well, it is Arizona, but
I listened to it a few times. That was, again, one of the trucks in the background, but it was certainly startling. And I was thinking that while editing it, let alone while anyone was trying to throw a shot.
I'm pretty sure Hailey has had to spray those chains every time. That was my roll today too. It was like the bonus roll.
when you're tapping out last, sometimes that's for birdie, sometimes that's for par. But when you're tapping out last, that's the roll. Here we are. This is a hole we kind of saw brought into play last year with a slightly different look. Last year it had a Mando. This year it's got a true island green to play too. How far would you say that do you have on each side of the basket there for that island?
I mean, I would think it's first circle. I mean, we got a 250-foot shot here. I just did a mid-range on a hyzer. Parked it. Never played the hole before until the round.
Okay. Well, apparently you and Alexis taking care of business there. Hailey gets this one up a little bit high. Does it still have the right speed? Yeah.
There you go.
All right. So all three women inside the circle now. Even on such a short hole, you'd think, well, maybe there's some wind to contend with, but it didn't really feel like it out there, did it?
No, it was really mild in the beginning of the day, and then it picked up towards the end, so the end was more challenging for sure. But I did utilize that. There was a little bit of a right to left, so I helped it push me into the basket, so they probably did the same thing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Making hole 4 look as easy as it really should be. kind of shocked to see as we watch the star frame. Actually, kind of surprised to see that hole 4 played at 3.06 on the day. So it actually did play slightly above par. There was a lot of 2s and a lot of 4s. I guess I feel like if you get inside the circle, you're probably making it then. So now we move over and taking a look at hole 5, which I'm very used to calling hole 4, but we're looking at hole 5. What's kind of the game plan when you think about if you can reach this hole or not? Because I don't think we're seeing a lot of FPOs get there in one shot.
No, your goal is to try to get to the crest of that last hill if you can by playing safe. And there was a bit of a headwind, so you really got to play it smart, because if you get too much of an ante on it, it's going to be gone off into the right into the road. And this is a really bad clover, so it doesn't skip at all. It just sticks.
Sounds like some local knowledge. Yeah, pretty much where you throw it is where it's going to stay.
Yeah, you're not skipping really anywhere. Especially when you get closer to that last ridge, which is what you're shooting for.
Hailey with a ton of power.
Yeah, she's on the top of the last ridge there. It's good.
Yeah, and I feel like you said, getting to the crest of the hill, it's not so much the distance to the pin, it's just being able to see it, I think, and be able to be a little bit more comfortable with the shot that you have to throw. I mean, she's kind of trusting her power right here.
Yeah, and being more left is probably a better thing, because that tree really comes into play for your second shot.
And that's a great approach shot there by Ohn.
It was really easy to focus on your up shots and your putts when you've got all that racket in the background.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the kind of shot that's a little bit harder, because you got to get around that tree instead of being able to just go right down to it.
Yeah, and even Alexis, she had the standstill. I think she maybe just misjudged it, or maybe she was playing for somewhat of a skip. But like you said, it's pretty sticky up there.
Yep. Had a good putt.
Just so effortless. I mean, she doesn't think about it. Puts it on a little wobble, and it goes in every time.
Just performs.
And maybe not too surprising, there were actually 0 birdies on that hole here today. And it averaged about a half stroke over par. So now we're playing up a hill, but a very, very short hole. How do you prevent a rollaway?
Well, first you have to not hit the tree.
Okay.
And then this is a little bit thicker grass too. It's got some clover in it, but if you go too wide on that hyzer line, you're going to go down. I mean, it's just really, really hard. Too much angle, and you're rolling. It's not going to stop. That's going to be good.
We hear the wind pick up a little. It seems like it's stalled somewhat, but I do like the line that she put it on, as you were saying.
So that should be good too.
On the up the gut
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah, I like it.
She did catch one of the final limbs. This is a little bit of a touchy approach shot. Like you said, anything with angle can get up and roll all the way down to the road, costing you an extra stroke or 2. And Hailey, really tentative, kind of gets the nose up on that. And she's left herself quite the tester.
And a lot of times you have no idea that you even rolled away until you get up there, because you're still going over a massive hill.
You're thinking you're parked, and all of a sudden you turn and look down in the road, and it's
There you
upside
are.
down
Yeah.
in the road.
Nice putt.
Things still relatively close. Of course, Owen out in front with this 2 under. This is Hailey to save her par.
There you go.
What death putt.
Right? Yeah.
So maybe you can tell me, with hole 6 being relatively short, one of the shortest ones on the course, 6 and 7 back to back. Does it feel like a little reprieve as we take a look at this one?
No. No, because there's so much water in play, and you want to have a little bit of that stable disc that can come back to the basket, because you really want to make this a birdie. You just want to. You're like, in your head, you're saying, don't do it, but then you do it. And then when you're running over the hill to see, did I just chuck it into the water? You're like, oh, thank goodness I got a green flag. But sometimes you just end up laying it more wide to be safe, and then you're still going for a par, even though you need that bird.
Yeah, it feels like you just got to go out and get it. This is the shortest hole on the course, and like you said, you come in a little bit hot, and it just barely trickles in.
And you can see that grass is a lot drier, so you're going to skip on that. Oh, she got up.
Yeah, it seemed like it skipped up off the side. She didn't want to take any credit for it. She thought she threw a terrible shot. But, sometimes a little luck prevails.
Yep. They'll be trying to save those pars.
As you said, this is Ohn for par.
That's a scary putt, too, because you can go right over the other edge.
Yeah.
And right back in the pool.
I know you've seen it throughout the years. You could watch somebody not having a good day literally just putt back and forth, throwing them in the water.
Yeah, a little ping pong.
Well, Alexis gets set up for her shot. Huge shout out to Gatekeeper. I got to thank those guys. They're letting me recycle, just like the water here. They're going to let me recycle some of the drone previews that you guys have been seeing. So big shout out to those guys.
There you go.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
No harm, no foul, right? Walk away with a par still.
And she got her disc back.
Yes. It's a little bit of a win in itself.
Uh-huh. Nice bird.
Yeah, and just like that, a little scoring separation, a 2, a 3, and a 4, all here on hole 7.
This hole can do it. It's deceiving. It's short, and you run it, and then you're like, that was a bad choice.
As you can see, beautiful day out here in Fountain Hills, Arizona. If you didn't know already, yes, they'll play 2 rounds here at Fountain, and then we'll play 2 rounds at Vista. And now, the other par 4. What in the world are you doing here?
Well, I like to try to get in between those 2 big trees, do a nice little layup to get on the back end of this other hill, and then just a pitch up from there and tap it for par and just walk away with your discs and a par. Call it a day.
Yeah, I don't think you could be too mad if you walk away with the 4 here. A 3 means you've thrown at least 2 really good shots at some point. Could be a long putt, could be a great drive or approach, but you've thrown at least 2 really good shots if you're taking a birdie 3 here.
So far they're going for the same shot that I went with.
Yep, just pretty much right up the middle. Now there's a huge advantage. If you can crest the hill, then I feel like you can control the angle of your disc on your second shot so much more. So an extra 30 or 40 or 50 feet can make a world of difference on throwing your approach shot. I think it makes things easier because where Ohn is, she's going to be standing, with her feet pointing uphill, and she's going to have to get the nose of the disc up a little bit.
And there's our wind picking up too. So with that angle, she could end up rolling down.
Looks like she's going to remain safe. But yeah, that's, again, you're throwing that disc nose up, and so when it comes back down, it could get up and wobble or start to move. We're hearing a little bit of the wind, which we haven't heard much of. That one remains safe. That is low and on the left side, and spotters.
She's going for she's going for the 3.
Yeah, she's trying to put all the way down there. Unfortunately, she finds the OB. Also, another shout out for my boys Dustin and Dylan out there doing double duty. Fresher cameramen and in putting this together. I was like, yeah, hole 8 is tough to throw, and it can be equally as tough to film because of some of these goofy angles.
That was a beautiful shot that she just had. Good bid.
Little pro tip for everyone at home: if Owen is within 50 feet, do not count her out. She's definitely going to be making a good bid at it. We see Hailey there with a good bid. That's a little bit high.
Here we go.
I'll rake with my phone later too if I find his name on it. Okay. I'll call you or text you if I find it.
Spotter trying to help out to do their best to retrieve the disc and possibly get it back. And we've got just hole 9. She's going to head back. Make sure she diligent. Spectators and caddies and such not allowed. Very strict policies, actually, in terms of all of those things. That's why you're seeing the mass and everything else, of course. And hole 9
There we go.
is one of the few holes that plays different from the FPO to the MPO. This is a little bit more of an attackable spot on the FPO side. Still dangerous, though.
Yes. Another hole I've never played before until today.
That's not a tee that you've gone out and practiced before?
Nope.
Okay. You don't live far from there.
I don't. And I left my car at the top of the hill, and the spotter's like, you're not at that tee pad. I'm like, really?
Okay.
All right.
So much for home course advantage.
Yeah.
So that's a great question. Is Hailey actually just comes up short. I want to know if you guys have played either Fountain Hills or Vista. That's where we're going to be all weekend. Put it in the comments. I'll randomly draw a comment about 1 week after this video has dropped, and we'll give some stuff away. But that's what I need to know. If you've played either Vista or Fountain or any of the Phoenix area courses. Quick pitch. And it finally sits.
That got really rolly at the end there.
Even the baskets on these peninsulas still somehow have this propensity to get up and roll away, even when you kind of are gentle with it. She'll walk away with the par, and we're going to start to close things up for the front 9. That went quicker than you thought, didn't it, Jamie?
It did, actually.
Well, we hope you guys, of course, join us for the back 9. This is round number 1, the Memorial Championships, presented by Discraft. Thank you to all the supporters and sponsors, everyone you've seen throughout the video, including all of our transitions and our advertisements. Thank you guys so much for supporting. And Jamie, we'll see you in the back 9.
All right. See you then.